Welcome on in. It's another edition of the Clap Your Hands podcast. I'm Jack Fritz alongside Eliot Shorr-Parks and James Jackson also in the house as well. If you've heard, James Jackson.
I was going to say.
Is all over the daily feed.
The Sixers insider now for us.
Yeah, so if you missed it, James Jackson's going to be doing a lot of daily pod stuff with us. He's a hoop head.
We could only hold him back for so long.
I know.
I just fit in so perfectly with the hoop talk.
Exactly.
I've actually learned a lot from you guys. That's how I'm able to take it to the daily.
Did you learn a lot about the FIBA game? The international game?
I'm using all that knowledge that you guys have passed down to me, and I'm able to take it forward. So I appreciate
no problem. It's all about paying it forward.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's good to clap again.
It is good to clap again.
Felt good, right?
I like that as the title of the pod. It's good to clap.
Full disclosure.
That might be the title.
Full disclosure. Forgot about it.
Yeah.
It was like, oh wait, how do we start this thing?
What a pleasant surprise.
So we're back. Sixers are starting soon. You know that what people are thinking about in the city of Philadelphia right now is definitely Sixers basketball. So that's key. Although there's a lot of stuff going on, and we'll get to the Embiid extension. You know, Eliot wants to talk about 215-592-9490 for what's a successful season for the Sixers at this point.
Twitter poll.
That's going to change, I'm sure, multiple times before the season starts. But I think the biggest news in Sixers land right now is they're probably going to get a new arena. You know, Shorr-Parks said that last week, and then said that I guess yesterday.
Yeah.
They're getting $1.3 billion. The Sixers are. They're apparently not, touching taxpayer money. We'll see. But overall, Eliot, it's been a hotly debated thing, and I know you have a thought on it. So what do you think about the arena?
Has any owner done as much for the city as Josh Harris?
Thank you, Josh Harris.
What a leader!
I didn't hear Jack Fritz say thank you, Josh Harris.
Yeah,
he's not from here. Like my goat, Jason Kelsey said.
Yeah, well, neither is Jeffrey Lurie.
Yeah, well, Jeffrey Lurie is ingrained in the fabric.
Right, he's ingrained himself in the community.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I will say it is so funny that Josh Harris comes in, right, and spends a ton of money and mostly stays out of the way. And
they're supposed to do.
And he took by the way, when he took over, they were practicing at the PCOM.
Dude, I was at those PCOM practices. We don't talk about how embarrassing that was. They were
for an NBA franchise.
At the PCOM. It was one court. It didn't even have like a side to it.
I know.
It was like a rec league court.
Yeah. They couldn't even go to the Leah Center.
Yeah.
They couldn't go somewhere.
It really is embarrassing.
It was for an NBA. It was so like 80s. I feel like that's something that happened in the 70s, 80s.
Dude, there'd be like kids like playing after them. Like it would be like, I remember it was on the team, Elton Brand would like come off the court, and then like a bunch of PCOM students would come play like horse.
They're doing open gym like at the Y.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
I did go to one. I think this was like my last year of college. I got connected with Elton Brand and went to a practice.
No big deal to you.
No big deal.
Yeah.
But it literally is like that. Like you waiting upstairs.
Yeah, it's absurd.
And like there's kids just walking through. They're like peeking when the Sixers are going to be done. It's interesting.
No, they weren't peeking at that point because there's no one on the team.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah.
Worth really.
Well, they were waiting to. That was when Embiid was like going to make his
Rodney
debut.
Carney.
Yeah, and so they were waiting to see what he looked like.
All right, here's my arena take. You ready?
Sure.
Been waiting all my life for it.
So, I think it'll be cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad we waited for
that.
Yeah.
No. Here, like, I know everybody on Twitter is now an expert on like how it's going to impact the community.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You're right. But here's the truth. Like, my personal preference would be all the teams playing South Philly. I think it's cool. I think having them all together there is like a little sports village. I think like Philly is such a great sports town that having them all in one place, like there's not many cities I think where it would matter enough, but I think having all four in the same place would be cool. So if it was up to me, my pick would be put the Sixers arena in South Philly next to the Link, next to Citizens Bank, and then the Flyers can play wherever. They can go play at PCOM. But like having all four of them in the same place, I do think is really cool.
Gotta get the Union downtown, right?
Yeah, gotta get the Union downtown. But I think that would have been my choice.
Of course, it's everyone's choice.
Yes. That being said, we all know when this arena is built, it's gonna be sick. Like that area of the city, there truly is not much going on there. Like, and while again, I don't know like the social impact of this, so I can't even speak to it. But like the new arena will be really cool, and it seems like Josh Harris is building a lot of apartments and like doing all these things. It seems like if they're truly going to pay for it all themselves, I don't know why we should be mad at a $1.3 billion investment into that area of the city with a new arena, with all these things. Like, while my preference would be to stay in South Philly, I think when it's built, it's going to be awesome.
I think the the traffic, the where you're gonna park, outside of all that,
that's definitely gonna suck.
That's definitely gonna suck. But we do have 7 years until that happens. I'm hoping that in the 7 years until 2031, when this gets built, there's some kind of plan infrastructure to deal with that.
Well, there will be.
When you talk about,
the sub sucks, right? Like the
no, I don't want a bunch of people. Like a bunch of people don't want to take the sub to go to watch the Sixers game.
Like for a major city, and then what is this, infrastructure or like
infrastructure talk.
Yeah. But like the subway, like getting around in Philly does suck compared to like other major cities.
Sure,
it is.
I would rather have them stayed in South Philly. I think everyone's under the same. We all agree with that. I also think there's a little bit too much of I can't believe they left. They're renting.
I can definitely believe that they're
They can't pay for.
I can't blame them for wanting their own arena.
And this has been rumblings for a long time. I've heard even before like a big announcement. You've heard just ears talking in the streets like the Sixers don't like that they have to pay the Flyers rent when they feel like we're keeping the lights on.
They were always going to get a new stadium, and they put pressure on them with the Camden thing.
And they weren't going to go to Camden.
Do you think Camden was smoking meat? And after all this is done,
if the city turned it down, they were going to. They had to have gone to Camden. Where else would they have gone?
I thought that was just a force their hand kind of thing.
Here's a true spicy take. I don't think there would have been that different going to Camden than it really.
No, it would have been. It would have been fine.
Yeah, it's like not. We're talking about they're going to like King of Prussia. Like Camden's like 7 minutes from where they play right now.
Right. Yeah, it's the thought. It's the thought, the optics, the fact that our
it would have been very Sixers.
Like I actually think people would have been more okay if it wasn't King of Prussia because that's still.
I agree. You're in the state.
You're in the state. You're in a Philly suburb. Like going across the water into Jersey.
I'm actually shocked it's not in Camden because it would have been the most Sixers thing of all time to be the first team to like leave quote unquote.
Well,
the
what's
city.
Crazy is in 2027 by the time this thing opens, we'll probably view the Sixers in such a different light than we do now.
You think Maxi's still here?
Yeah.
You think Embiid's still on the team?
No shot. No.
McCain?
Yeah.
Well, McCain might not be here game one.
You think Jared McCain might still be there?
Yeah.
They need Maxey, frankly. I mean, he's going to be.
How do they sell this new arena without?
He's going to be the face of the new arena. Now he's 23.
No, I think he's 22.
Either one. 22, 23. Yeah. So
maybe like 21, honestly.
No, he's not.
I mean, he came into the
23.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
All right.
Why don't you up your facts?
Yeah. Well, Maxey's my guy.
Yeah. So he always has been.
He always has been. Always.
I mean, 7 years from now he'll be 30. He's still like in his prime.
Yeah.
And they're going to need him to open up. They can't. It's the biggest reason why they'll never trade Embiid, and the biggest reason why they'll never tank is they need to be good. Like they need to be pretty good when they're opening that thing. I think it's gonna be a pain getting there. I really do.
Well, it definitely
is. It's gonna be terrible.
And all these people that are saying, "Well, you'll just catch the train." Catching the train also kind of sucks. You're tied to the schedule. You can't leave whenever you want. You can't get there whenever.
It smells like we could talk about it honestly.
The R's,
like being on the train, being on the sub, like especially when you get on the sub into the city.
Well, yeah, the sub, but
train's not great all the time.
They both are not fun to take. I agree, but like it's going to suck. Like no question about it.
And you're going to be approaching 50 at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be harder for you to get around.
Exactly,
You're probably going to ask
I'll
have a senior citizen.
Yeah, the handicap parking spot at that point.
As you're approaching 50.
Yes.
It'd probably be a bad sign for your overall health. But in old cities when it's not already built, I just think it's a hard thing to pull off. Like Philadelphia's an old city. It's not like it's got old roots.
Yeah.
Everything feels smaller and tighter and more compact. Yeah. So listen, there's a part of me excited for it. Like having an arena in the city feels awesome. Mm-hmm. Like I'm so jealous. Like I wish the Phillies had it down at Penn's Landing.
Yeah,
because
really cool.
Right on the water would have been amazing.
It's so dope having it.
And if you look like a lot of northeastern cities, most of the arenas are in their downtown.
Most
big cities are in their downtown. And you kind of talked about the infrastructure of it. Like there's like another $50 million agreement to kind of updo like Chinatown and the end of Fashion District, that mall. Right. So it's important that they're not just like plopping a stadium in the middle of what's already there. Like you said,
well, that would be impossible.
Stuff. Yeah, that's true.
Well, and also for what it's worth, this is very like old man to me, but the construction part of it is going to suck. Like
how's that going to affect you?
I was about to
say, it's not going to affect me, but I'm saying no, I don't. But I'm saying like the people that have to drive in there every day, like dude, one block closes on the city and it throws everything into like.
But I'm more mad about that if I didn't hear that, like, oh, there's $50 million coming into my neighborhood. None of that's
$50 million. I feel like actually not that much.
Not crazy, but to a spot that
to me,
I was gonna say
absolutely.
My guy's got like 4 sponsors now.
What's the last renovation project to happen in Chinatown? You know what I mean? Like for that area, those people went, okay, we're getting something. We're getting a lot of new stuff here.
We'll see. I don't know.
I'm trying to spin it.
Should we get? So there's gonna be a bunch of apartments. Should we get a clap your hands apartment?
Just for just for after games.
Exactly.
A content house. For
exactly. Yeah. Clap your hands. Content.
Well, my first thought was walk, obviously, and number 2 coming. So like he's not really going to be able to experience the South Philly Sports Complex, which is very weird to me.
Which sucks.
It's the only thing I've experienced in my entire life.
It's the only thing I know.
All the things, like he's going to be 8 when the thing opens, which is also weird.
I mean, good age though.
It's a great age.
Yeah,
it's a great age. The problem is he's going to have a 30-year-old 6-foot point guard as their best player.
Right.
We'll see where their team.
Well, by then Anthony Edwards will be here.
Yeah, he's going to be a Sixer for sure. Yeah. But it's just going to be such a shock to the system of getting there. And it's just, I hope that the biggest thing that changes in the next, 6 years is I hope just the feeling around the Sixers changes. Like that's why I hope they go on a deep run this year. Because everything they do, people just crap all over no matter what. Yeah. So like I hope when it opens, it's more, this is awesome. We finally have an arena downtown rather than like. Bleh.
And imagine they could open the new arena and unveil a nice championship banner in the new arena.
Everyone remembers the 2024 Sixers.
In-season tournament banner.
Yeah.
Hey man, let's hang something.
But like, what do you think the reaction would be if the Eagles did it?
If they did what?
If they wanted to build their stadium downtown.
Well, that's the funniest thing about.
No, I can't even imagine that.
It's never going to happen.
You would need
I don't know what that looks like.
An entire quadrant of the stadium.
And I would, for that reason, I think there would be. Like, I don't think people would be happy. I think people would be very upset.
What about the Temple? Where's the Temple Stadium? Where's the Temple football stadium? We got the Sixers Arena before the Temple football stadium?
As part of this, there's like no team can build a stadium besides like the Union.
Oh, okay. So they were going to make their way downtown?
I hope.
Yeah? That'd be amazing.
I hate the whole it's so fun in Chester. Like, no, it's not. It's 25 minutes away. It'd be way better in the city.
Their stadium does have a cool outlook on the water.
It does, but I like...
you turn the opposite direction.
The 3 times after you've seen it, I'd rather not have to pay $60 for an Uber to get that.
If the Eagles... See, the Eagles, I feel like they're never going to leave. Like, I feel
they'll always
the Phillies, Eagles, and Flyers now will all be, because now they're going to all combine and try to.
Which will be cool. Like
because it's going to be best for both worlds here. The Sixers get their arena downtown, which is a new thing,
right?
And by the way, it's probably going to open up the door for a WNBA team. They talked about that today.
That'd be cool.
So and then there's going to be a real revitalization project at the South Philly Sports Complex where we can get more stuff. Like, Xfinity's fine. Xfinity's good, but I think that's for should be for 25-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing for the 35.
Right. There's no let's have a nice espresso martini outside.
Espresso marts?
Yeah.
There's none of that.
Yeah.
We need all that. I think
way more like gross vodka Red Bulls. Yeah.
Yes.
Complex and see you having an espresso martini.
Yeah. 50-year-old Elliot.
Yeah. Just be very wise. I cannot wait. I feel like I know how I'm going to age. Like, I see where this is trending.
Right.
You know, I don't know how you're going to age.
I can tell you right now. I'm going to look exactly the same.
I feel like you're going to look the same.
We will be
Are you going to act the same? Like, at some point, is more manliness going to take over?
No.
That was a gut punch. That was
no. I mean, I already act mature. I don't think I act manly.
Yeah, well, there's a difference. Like, I just, you were afraid of rain up until last year.
Well, I'm better with that now.
You are. I want to know. I want to know what the evolution of Elliot is going to be like.
It'll be look. Follow it along and clap your hands.
That's right. That's right.
There you go.
Other quick Elliot question. During Sixers season,
yes,
are we going to get Elliot video breakdowns of Sixers out of bounds timeout sets?
Maybe. I got my new iPad. I know this is obviously about the Eagles breakdowns that I can tell you're loving. Yeah,
dude, the Bryce off one. It was egregious. I mean, it was
what, the one about him being happy after the thing?
Yeah.
We don't think that's a good point?
He got bodied by a tight end. He couldn't get off.
See, this is where you don't know football. He set the edge there to force him. I'm just letting you know. If you want to, look, it was a good play by him. It was. What do you want me to say? I put in there that he has...
Elliot Baldinger. I know.
I know. Trust me. I got the little pencil and the circle. I'm good to go. I got my new iPad.
How many downs of organized football?
Me?
Yeah.
Not a single one.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, as opposed to all the other all 22 people.
You start hashtagging Parks breakdowns. Like
I might have to.
Yeah.
Dude, it would be. I am so in on the Eliot evolution of tape breakdown guy. It was not in my bingo card of Eliot evolutions.
Gotta keep.
But I do need. I need Nick Nurse out of bound timeout sets.
Oh, you'll get Sixers breakdowns.
Yeah. You see here the way that you set the pick.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's able to get around the corner. That's actually a horn set.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Educate the people.
Yeah, a little back cut Princeton. Princeton
you
offense.
You can do the FIBA game. I'll do the in-season tournaments.
Yeah, it'll be beautiful. But I think.
Well, one last thought on the arena, if you don't mind. If you could
not that I was
up for a second. Yeah. It is going to suck. To your point about the Sixers feeling like different than the other teams, and like, everyone like always supports the Eagles and the Phillies to an extent. Like the Sixers are definitely right now, everyone's mad at them. If they do revitalize the South Philly complex and the Sixers aren't a part of it, I think there's going to be some natural built-in like anger towards the team there.
Yeah, I mean, I think by the time the arena rolls around, it's not going to be viewed as it is right now.
Hopefully,
where it's not some like big.
Yeah, but the Sixers have been like, people have been mad at them for a while now.
Yeah, well, and it's tough because on one hand I get it. I felt this way a lot last year, and they ultimately proved me wrong, which is fine. They all ultimately do. I just hope there's more clean slates with this team.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
people get so worked
there's just never going to be a clean slate until Embiid's gone. It is what it is.
Until Embiid's gone. And speaking of that, Joel Embiid signs his huge extension, 3 years, $193 million. It's
bananas.
It's just so funny how, and we're not as old as the other people who like when Pete Rose signed for $1 million in 1979. This is a meltdown.
Well, Reggie White, what did he get? $3 million when we went to the.
Well, then the people back then were like, that's too much for an athlete.
Yeah, this could be their full-time job.
Tommy. I think Tommy got $82 million over 6 years or something. And that's
like NHL money.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
3 years, 100. He's gonna make $60-some million.
I wonder how many
the last year's. I think his player option. I think is like $68 million or something.
I wonder how many NHL teams total payroll is less than what Joel will make in 1 year.
I don't think a payroll's over $100 million. I wouldn't be surprised.
Even like the 60
over $50 million. I feel like their highest paid NHL player makes like maybe $7-8 million a year.
That's like the top of the top.
Yeah,
it's PJ Tucker money.
Yeah. What about the MLS?
Nah, they're not making that.
Avalanche have the highest payroll, $125 million.
How?
Total payroll.
How?
Yeah. Are they even good?
Kind of.
Well, they won the cup a couple of years
ago. I was about to say, they just won a cup
with Nathan McKinnon.
There you go.
South Philly sauce, man.
Yeah.
Right.
You're paying attention, and I appreciate that. But yeah, it's the $193 million. He commits to being a Sixer for life. I mean, he's going to be a Sixer for life.
He will be, more than likely.
More than likely.
So I don't like it. I don't like the contract. I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't get the celebration about it. Joel, he's played fewer games each of the last 3 years. He clearly has knee problems. Once a year, his legs hurt him. I'm not trying to compare him to Andrew Bynum straight up, but Andrew Bynum like quickly went from, oh wow, I can't believe they traded for him, to a year later like, oh, he's never playing again. They had him under contract for 2 years. If I was Daryl Morey, to the point about being manly, I would not have been strong enough not to give him the extension. Like, you give it to him. Mm-hmm. I get it. He earned it. He's the best player. I completely get it. But let's all be honest here and say this contract is more than likely not going to age well. It's just not. Like, he is an old player with an old body with bad legs, and now they have him under contract for 5 more years. And I know the cap dynamics will change and everything, but there's a real world where in 2 years this is one of the worst contracts in the NBA. There's a real world where at the end of this year it's the worst contract in the NBA.
What did you want them to do?
Well, that's my point. Like, I don't know what you're going to do.
Like, I think we can agree that we have concerns about the contract, but also you'd rather have Joel Embiid here than not, or is that not true?
Well, they already had him for 2 or 3 years.
Sure,
they had him 2 years plus the extension.
Sure, but
the option.
You understand the NBA and these guys.
I get it. That's what I'm saying. I know you had to give it to him, but I don't get the celebration about it. I don't get the happiness of like, nice, he's locked up.
I know people are. That's whatever. That's just a reaction to it. We're just talking about like him, the player. I mean, they had to do it. Now, does it change the Bryce extension for people? I mean, I know it's 8 years away,
right?
So should they extend him after this year?
But it's honestly, it's similar to the Bryce thing.
Are you about to sneeze?
No, I'm like, sometimes I hiccup too much. Yeah,
hiccuping is one of the worst things to happen to you.
Yeah,
I'm very anti-hiccup.
Yeah,
I want to make that clear.
Yeah, you've always have been, always will be. But here's what I'd say about is how it's similar to the Bryce thing. Bryce doesn't need an extension now. But if he puts up a big enough fuss about it, like I would give it to him for sure, right? Especially when they win the World Series this year. But
I just say they're going to lose. I need everyone to stop.
I honestly think they're going to win the World Series.
It
feels like their year.
I need everyone to stop saying they're going to win the World Series.
I know. I know.
It gives you a lot.
It's going to be an emotional jack for the next month. Yeah, you're already shooting selfies in the car. Like but I look. They have Paul George, who's old on a max deal. They have Embiid, who's old on a max deal. Like they have to win it this year. It's pretty much this year. Not to be dramatic, but like they maybe have a year after that. But
that's kind of how I feel about. It's. I think there's actually a parallel here between the Phillies and Sixers. Like people say the Phillies window and talk about how open it is, and John Middleton talked the other day about this is not going to be the first year they go for it. But they're kind of in a similar position where this is an older core. Yeah. Like all the Phillies' main pieces, besides like Boehm's like 28 though, so he's not like young. Are all
28?
Dude, Boehm's, yes.
Jeez, I thought he'd be like 24.
No.
I thought it was way up.
No. Yeah. He's like 27, 28.
Wow.
Stott's 26. So it's not like
Stott sucks now, though.
Stott's struggling. but they both, like, the idea that this is going to be, it can be an extended window for the Phillies. It can be an extended window for the Sixers. But with how these teams are currently constructed with what Maxey did in the playoffs last year, like those three are all ready, and you don't know how long you have Paul George for. Like,
or Embiid.
I actually, this might come back to bite me. I feel stronger about Embiid aging fine in the next 2 years than I do Paul George. I'm more worried about
games are built different. I mean,
I'm more worried about a Paul George like falling off the cliff than I am Embiid. If
the difference with Paul George is once he loses athleticism, now he can shoot, which will help his game age better. But I think,
but then he's just Robert Horry.
But I think with Joel, it'll be like he can't run all of a sudden. Like his legs will unfortunately like really give out. And so that's my concern with the long-term deal. With Paul George, you're right. I think that there's more reason with his game to be concerned. With Joel, it's just he's a huge individual with bad knees, and that's a bad combination.
What do you got on that, James?
I'm not so anti-Joel Embiid.
Well, I'm not anti-Joel.
I know Joel Embiid contract.
Yes,
Joel Embiid contract. Me and you kind of talked about this on the very first daily pod about him getting a contract. And I already pointed out that one, we had injury concerns and health concerns before the first max extension, right? Since then, we've gotten an MVP, we've gotten great play, and I understand that all the health isn't completely taken care of.
Right.
But I also think that we're going into a time where Embiid, hopefully, knock on wood, is going to have some of the most help from his co-stars that he's ever had. When you talk about what Tyrese Maxey can do, what Paul George can do, what guys like Caleb Martin and Reggie Jackson and Eric Gordon can do. Like there's a really good kind of supporting cast around Embiid that hopefully can alleviate a lot of that pressure that you're talking about and a lot of that wear and tear.
But the difference with that is you're right, but that's like this year. Right, so
I think the window extends to next year. I'm not sure. Maybe slams shut this year.
Maybe 2 year window.
Yeah, for sure.
But Joel was already under contract for 2 years.
True, but I mean,
it's
100%. You save money by doing it now.
You think you do? This is like when everyone said they signed Jalen to his deal, or whoever you want to pick. Like, yes, you save money in the moment, but a year from now, things could be very different. If Joel's legs continue to deteriorate the way they have, in 2 years, you think he's getting a max deal?
Yeah, but he just won an MVP the prior season. So what if he comes back, bounces back, has another MVP
this year he played 50 games because he didn't qualify.
And what if he bounces back and has an MVP year? Then all of a sudden the price tag goes up to a spot that you got to change everything you do around him too. Like we're doing this now. This keeps his annual salary at very reasonable, right? It only jumps up, I think, $3 million next year,
right?
$4 million a year after that. If the Sixers have to make a move around him, say they want to make some kind of splash move, they have flexibility and ability to do that. You wait till he has a very good season, and now you handicapped yourself for that next year.
But I'd rather pay him there, knowing he just had an MVP year, and seeing another.
Now he's another year.
I get his year older, but then also is he getting as many years? I don't know. I think the health part of this is a big thing for me.
But I think what you're not factoring in is everything around the team seems pretty positive right now. And do you really want to go a year from now, 2 years from now, and be dealing with like, do we need to hassle and haggle with Joel Embiid?
But that was argument against for the Jalen contract. But is Jalen getting as much money now as he would have a year ago?
Probably not. But
similar, maybe.
But they did construct it in a way to where they can get out of it semi easier.
Is Jalen Hurts' nickname The Process? Like, is Jalen Hurts? You know what I mean? At the forefront of an entire rebuild, like he is stuck through here. And the Sixers organization has put Joel Embiid through some things, right? In his Sixers tenure.
Yeah, they've also paid him a lot.
Paid him a lot, but there's not like
Eagles pay Nick Sirianni a lot.
And he's one of the best coaches in the league.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, he is.
He's the Lombardi of the 2020s.
Yeah. I think there's always going to be concerns, but I definitely think this is something, one, they should do, and two, just in the landscape of the NBA, like you said to start, like you got to do it.
I think you have to do it, but I just don't think it's a good financial decision.
Well, of course not. It probably won't.
Okay, well,
but it's the price of doing business.
No, I get that.
Jack, you made the point of clean slates, right?
Yeah, it's all about clean slates.
Why would you want to go into this year or next year anything over his head? Anything like let's clear that. We just extended Maxey. We just paid Paul George.
Thank you, Josh Harris.
And we're going to stop the line at our franchise player.
Well, and plus, how about this, Elliot? What do you think about this little theory?
Okay.
You don't want him having the contract so he feels like he has to push himself, so that he's wasting that talent in the regular season.
There we go.
So he's more healthy for the postseason.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay.
Shut it all the way down.
End in a broad.
Shut it all the way down.
In 3 years, when we're doing a live pod from the construction site of the new arena,
yes,
we'll see how we all feel about this contract.
Yes,
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But
when you're watching that year, players get signed for a $220 million max extension for 3 years. We're gonna be like,
and Joel has like a robot on his knee. So
sure, but aren't we glad we paid him then? Aren't we glad we paid him then?
I can't wait for the first $100 million a year contract.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. The NBA is gonna be the first one to hand that out.
Who's gonna get it?
Like Ohtani got what, $70-some million a year?
I think it lines up for someone like
Anthony
Edwards. I feel like what happened. No, Wemby.
Jason Tatum, maybe.
Wemby, Doncic, Luka.
The internet will break if Tatum gets
he's young enough for
I'm just saying
he could do it.
The internet's so kind to Tatum. I can only imagine. He'll probably have 3
it's because everyone has eyes, and they
don't
can't
rule out someone like
he only led the team in points, rebounds, assists in the NBA Finals.
The farther we get from that Finals, the more I realize, like, dude, he should have been Finals MVP.
Of course, he should have been. What are we talking about?
Learn the game.
Yeah, learn the game.
Hey, that's why you two are doing the Daily Pod.
Yeah.
You bring in the big dog for the
for the big one.
The columnist for the show.
Yes, thank you.
I'll do the video breakdown.
Yes.
I'll stick to
the first time you do. Here's what Nick Nurse is thinking in this situation.
I can't wait.
Will be the funniest video of all time.
I can't wait.
You're a content man.
I am. Numbies are
numbies. Numbies are numbies. I totally agree with that. So, did you like that the Temple football helmet made its way into the Sixers practice yesterday?
Nah. I'm a Temple guy, but I don't know if we need the football team.
I don't know about your favorite.
Those are the vibes you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I loved I went to Temple. I enjoyed my time there.
Why are you laughing?
It sucks to not have like a true sports program to root for.
I know.
Like imagine if like the three, Nova's not really a real sports program anymore either.
I don't know what does that mean.
Well, it's gonna be a long decade.
Yeah. You guys gonna have to pay Jay right.
Yeah, we'll see. When we win a Big East championship this year, we'll remember it.
Man, everyone's gonna talk about it.
Yeah. Big East title from 2024.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it.
And hey, are the Nova banners gonna get hung in the new arena?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
They're bringing
a good point,
the banners with us.
No. Has anyone addressed that?
They'll probably stay because Nova doesn't know if they're going to continue playing at Wells Fargo when they come to the city or if they're going to play in the Sixers arena downtown.
That's what I'm saying.
That's going to be we'll see.
I think if you're the Sixers, you got to say no. Well, I guess they have to fill. Sixers, they have to fill games. That's
I was about to say there's 3 Nova banners and 2 Sixers championship.
Imagine that first Bruce Springsteen concert at the new.
7 years from now when he's in his like 90s.
But no, keep the Temple helmet away.
Don't want to ruin the vibe.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. Do you want to talk about what a successful season looks like this year?
Yeah, let's drive it.
Look, I mean, maybe this can be the next pod, but I guess
we do have to stretch this whole thing out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because training camp starts next week?
Yeah, Monday.
Dude, I mean,
media day.
I'm pumped.
Monday.
I can't. I need to get my bank account back up on FanDuel. Although I did take them for $400 last week.
Well, the Bryce one?
Yeah.
Why don't you withdraw? That's what
I did withdraw.
Okay.
Then so I got but since then I haven't won a bet.
Yeah, right.
Which is classic. Almost betting on NBA season, which is
I can't wait. It's the best.
That's where you make your money.
Yeah, the best betting.
Yeah, football season great to bet on.
Who's your 3-point shooter to bet on this year? Because you identify one every year.
Yeah, I'll get there.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I've been dealing with
a lot of things going on. Yeah.
I thought I was dealing with a historic collapse from the Phillies, and now we're in. So I was stressing for a little bit. I haven't looked at the 3-point shooting props in a while, but don't you worry, I'll be right.
He'll be there. It'll be a pacer.
It will be a pacer.
Dude. If I might have to take Pacers future to win the East again. No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. But either way, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I mean, actually, I do have a final thought.
Okay.
So we've talked about this, but like, I could not be more excited for Tyrese Maxey this season.
Okay.
Like a guard leading the team with the Iverson braids. Like
It's got aura all around.
Like I could not be more excited for an athlete and a team.
And
like,
did you see him? Like
he looks strong.
He looks big.
He's
man.
big
He
shoulders
looks
now.
big, yeah.
Apparently dating Bryce Young's girlfriend, ex-girlfriend.
I don't love that. That's bad karma, man. I don't like. I just don't love that.
Yeah, well,
it's just
Bryce Young's
karma
going through a rough patch.
It's a tough
I
stretch.
think
Is Nick Sirianni the Sixers coach in 2031? I'm not the Sixers coach, the Eagles coach in 2031.
Maybe.
No. No. But I don't think anybody that's a current. I don't think there's a single athlete in the city that will be on the team in 2031.
Bryce will, because this is last year.
Yeah, there's no shot.
Last year of his contract.
Yeah, okay. We'll see.
He told me he's going to die in a Phillies uniform.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Why do you think he's not a Philly for the rest of his career?
I mean, 2031 is so far
it's
away.
only 7 years away.
It's not that
7 years. Is there any athlete in the city that was here 7 years ago besides Embiid,
BJ,
Brandon Graham, Nola?
Nola's 15. So yeah.
All right, so that's
So you just named three players from
okay.
three different
all right.
teams.
Well, name 3 you think will be here in 2031.
In
How long
2031.
when did TK get here? Travis Konechny.
Yeah,
Okay,
Come
all right,
on.
come on.
I mean, look.
What are you
Yeah,
talking
It's a
about?
big-
Yeah.
I thought we
talking about-
I thought we were. I thought we were
fourth down?
paying attention to Flyers, man.
Dude, what is this?
What on it?
Kyle Newbeck over here, like pulling a flyer out of the. Yeah.
Caden Sullivan? Is Caden Sullivan going to be in the
David
union?
Sullivan
Yeah, I
hopefully
know.
won't be here.
I know.
If he's still here-
If he's still here, then he is Freddie Adude his career.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Aiden Miller will be the face of the Phillies.
That's a good point.
Do not
Yeah.
worry about that.
Does he count? I guess
No, he doesn't count. He's in the system.
Yeah.
He's in the system. So yeah, I think
Boom.
no.
No,
He's like 28.
all right, fair. All right.
It might be only old man.
Nobody on the Eagles.
TK
7 years
2015
is-
draft. So yeah, we can put.
Okay.
Travis
Devontae
Konechny
could be
there,
here in
so.
7 years.
Fonzie's what, 23? 24?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Trey's still signed through 2031.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Your boy.
My boy. Yeah. Well, listen, we're back. The Clap Your Hands podcast is back.
It's good to clap again.
We recorded a podcast. All right.
Yes.
For Jack, Fritz, Eliot Shorr-Parks, and James Jackson, this has been another edition of Clap Your Hands.